Right over here we have the Shimano Sedona.
It's an iPhone 4.
It's my little brick, don't make fun of it. Oh, you are? What's going on, everyone? So I'm back here at Tailwater Outfitters with my man Dan, and we're gonna be talking about some shore fishing basics for you guys. To start off, the first thing you really need is a rod and reel combo to go out and catch these fish. So what I wanted to do is show you guys a combo that's not really gonna break your bank at all. It's a very affordable combo, but it'll definitely go out there and get the job done for you guys to catch any inshore species that you're really gonna catch from shore here. We're gonna talk about this reel right here. This is the Shimano Sedona 4000. Pretty sure it retails at what, at like $80?
Yeah, 70, 80 bucks, somewhere in there.
Around there. It's a very affordable reel, and it's Shimano, so you know it's gonna work really well. Do you know the drag or anything that goes with this reel?
I don't.
Okay.
Let me look it up for you?
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't.
Okay.
I can tell you it's a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio.
There we go.
So, boom.
So, I'll list it down at the bottom, the different drag and everything like that, or I'll put it down in the description, actually, that'll be better. And what I would recommend with any like 4,000 size reel is to put about 15 or 20 pound braid on there. So right here we have some high-vis yellow 20 pound Power Pro right here, and that would work perfectly for this situation. To go with this reel, I would recommend using around like a medium power rod. And again, we found a rod that's not really gonna break your bank at all. This is the St. Croix Triumph right here. This is 7-foot medium action rod. And we were just talking about, I think it retails at what, like $100?
100 bucks.
100 bucks. So combo all together, it's about 180. And we were talking about this, how in a 7-foot combo, you're gonna get more accurate cast, but you're not gonna get the distance really. So if you're in a situation where you're fishing from shore and you need to get a little bit more distance, maybe you see some redfish off in the distance, or you see some mackerel blowing up or anything like that, you need a little bit more distance, I would recommend going with a 7.6. That way you get a little more distance, maybe not the accuracy, but it'll let you get to those fish a little bit easier.
Yeah, I usually carry both with me.
Yeah.
And I have about 3 or 4 of these Triumphs. Are good rods.
You really gotta be prepared, especially when you're fishing from shore, for anything that could pop up. Because really it's not, you're kind of limited on where you can go, so you gotta be ready for any situation that comes to you. So I'd recommend having a couple different setups rigged with different, maybe a different size leader, a different hooks or anything like that, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit more now. Yeah. So, we're gonna talk about different leader that I would recommend. So, when you're fishing from shore around here, it really depends on what you're trying to catch and the water clarity that you're fishing in. So if you're fishing very clear water, obviously you're gonna have to go down with a little bit smaller leader size, probably around like a 15 pound to 20 pound leader. But if you're fishing a little bit darker water, or you're fishing for bigger fish like some bigger redfish or some bigger snook or anything like that, I'd recommend beefing it up to around 25 or 30 pounds right here. But if you're just looking for like a go-to, just simple pound to get you out there and catch some fish, 20 pound, you cannot go wrong with that. There's really 2 different ways to go fishing from shore. You can either use live bait or you can use artificial. So we're gonna start talking about live bait first. The go-to baits around here are shrimp and pinfish, especially from shore. If you can get some scale sardines or anything like that, then you'll be going too. But really, if you're going to a bait store, you're either gonna buy either shrimp or pinfish. What I usually do is I'll get a live well system or a little bucket system like this little angle right here, if you wanna talk about it.
Yeah, this thing's awesome. It comes with an air pump. It's got the DC adapter. So this thing right here will, hi. And so what this does, so this has got the DC adapter, so you can plug it into your car.
Adam's like, scoot it over.
All right, we scooted it over. Hello. The other cool thing about this, you're talking about shrimp, is really for any bait when you go to take it out of the water, built-in net. This does another thing though. I don't know if you ever fished with shrimp, and what they'll do is they'll get congregated in the corner and die. With this gives the shrimp something to hold on to. Keep them actually fresh longer. Plus, this is insulated. If you're out in the summer, you can take a couple of those little small water bottles, freeze them, keep them in your cooler. You think your shrimp are starting to get a little flustered or whatever, drop one in there, cool the water down a little bit for them. You can run your bait well through here. It comes with a shoulder strap. These things are awesome, made by Engel. You can actually get, you can clip rod holders onto the side of it. They actually make one that comes with 4 rod holders built in. It's awesome. It's like a 30 quart. So great for getting out there with with live bait.
Another good thing
in the middle.
Another good thing about that little mesh on the inside, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with like the last bait and trying to get it out. It can be super annoying, especially if you have fish like a little pinfish or something. So that way you can just pull that entire thing out and you'll be good to go without the hassle of trying to catch that last bait.
Yes.
Talking about live bait, we're going to talk about usually using circle hooks, especially around here in inshore. So what I'd recommend if you're using shrimp or maybe some smaller pinfish, a 2-0 circle hook right here, like these Gamakatsus, work perfect. If you're going to use a little bit bigger bait, like some bigger pinfish or maybe some grunts or anything like that, maybe beef it up to a 3 or a 4-0. But like again, you got to be ready for anything that comes around.
One of the mistakes people make is that they'll think, I'm trying to catch a big fish, I need a big hook. And that's not necessarily true. There's fly fishermen that use hooks you can barely even see. So if I'm using a little tiny, let's say I can only get pinfish this big, I'm gonna probably go down to a number 2.
Yep.
You know, maybe even a number 4. But if I got pinfish that are like this, because if you take a pinfish like this and put a 3-aught hook in his nose, he's just gonna go dunk.
He's gonna weigh down.
Yeah. So, so always have, you know, a couple of different sizes, like a number 2, maybe a 1-aught, 2-aught, you know, and then if you, heck, 4 or 5-aught.
Again, with the clear water, if you're using a bigger hook, sometimes the fish will spook. So,
and if you're using too small of a hook on a big bait, you won't get the hook in the fish because it'll just.
There's a lot of different factors you got to play into it, but that's the whole. You got to be prepared for anything that you're going to use or find out there. So
bring a shotgun.
Yep. So next thing you're going to talk about is different lures. So what I did is I broke this down into my top 3 lures I would recommend if you're going to be shore fishing. Again, if you watched my video before that we talked about the top 5 lures I would recommend, I broke this down into the top of the water, mid-water, and kind of lower water columns right there. So the first one I'm going to talk about is also the top of the water column, and that's the Xerospook Jr. right here. Like I said in the last video, this is one of my favorite lures of all time, definitely my favorite top water. Bone color is the color I'd recommend going with, especially in the clear water situations. You were talking about a little bit darker, maybe go with a darker color bait.
At night, yeah.
At night too, that will work well.
Silhouette's better.
Yeah. Again, this is a walk the dog kind of top water, darts back and forth, very erratic. The redfish, snook, trout, love this lure. Only thing I would recommend is if you're gonna go for a little bit bigger fish, maybe switch out the hooks to a little bit stronger hooks, but other than that, it's a very good bait. So moving to the mid-water column, we got the Mirror Mirrodine right here, another classic bait that you can find.
Classic.
Everyone throws these baits around here. It just looks like a little bait fish darting around in the middle of the water. It's a suspending twitch bait. It sinks down about 1 foot, and then it just kind of darts back and forth, just like the Xerospook, but under the water.
Very much imitates a dying bait fish.
Yep.
Which most predator fish can't handle. They can't stand it.
Yeah, so they come in a couple different sizes. Again, you want to try and match the hatch of what is around the area that you're fishing. If you go there and see that there's a lot of glass minnows or maybe smaller greenbacks or threadfins or anything like that, go with a smaller size bait or a smaller size, small size lure. If you see some of these bigger baits, then go with the bigger size.
Last but not least?
Last but not least, probably my favorite lure as of late, the DOA cow right here. This is the shad tail, and these are my 2 favorite colors I've been using a lot recently. If you're in the little bit darker water, you want to use the root beer color right here. It just gives a little more contrast and it's easier for the fish to see. A little bit clearer water, you want a more natural presentation, so you want to use the greenback color right over here. In a situation where you're fishing in, especially from shore, it's not going to be too deep usually. If you're fishing from a seawall, you're fishing from a beach like a causeway or anything like that, it's usually going to be a little bit shallower water, so I'd recommend using a smaller jig head like these ones right here. This is a 1/8 ounce jig head right here. Enough to get it down under the water, kind of bounce it through the grass if you work it slow enough. Or you could kind of swim it back, kind of work the mid-water column just like the Mirrodine, but it just mimics a dying bait fish again, gives off a lot of vibration, and the fish seem to really like it.
My favorite color in these is called Greeny. It's like a green with a lighter green. It's another one that just does really well.
Another thing I would recommend is if you're fishing an area with a lot of grass and you keep getting grass on your jig heads or anything like that, you can use one of these weighted worm hooks right here, especially with the little keeper on top, the little screw, and you just Texas rig it and stick the...
Here, let's show them.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and do this?
I'm his assistant. Literally just screw this thing on here.
And all that does is just keep it on the hook a little bit easier so it doesn't tear the bait as easily when you get a bite.
Match where the hook would penetrate. Go like this, mark it with your thumb, right up through the middle. And then the last thing I do once you get through there, oh, hold on, there we go.
There we go.
Once you get through there is I skin hook it, and to skin hook it means I'm just going to take it, pinch, go up, forward, and then back, and all I'm doing is just sticking the tip of the hook right in the top there, and it makes it weedless.
Yeah, like I said, perfect in a situation when you're fishing a little bit shallower water, a lot of grass around.
That's the Rick Murphy move right there.
Give it a little wiggle.
Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. That's the Rick Murphy move.
And it's perfect. You don't get any grass on your line, but still gets the hook in the fish because it'll just kind of tear out of that lure right there and get right into the fish's mouth. So all this you can find here at Tailwater Outfitters off US 19, just north of Curlew. And they have everything that you're going to need, whether it's shore fishing, offshore fishing, bass fishing, anything like that. They have everything covered.
I think we've even got this on our website, which would be Tailwater Outfitters PalmHarbor.net.
I'll have it listed down in the description.
.gov.
I'll have the correct one listed down in the description if you guys want to go check them out. They also have a YouTube channel where they do a lot of hook tying videos, fly tying videos, unboxing videos. So if any of that
human tricks.
Yeah, if any of that interests you guys, definitely go check them out. They're gonna have actually a giveaway coming around pretty soon. And
for one of these.
For one of those little Engel live weld cooler looking things. So if any of that interests you, you should definitely go check them out, subscribe to them, and yeah.
Is that it?
That's pretty much it.
What a way to wrap up a video.
Oh yeah. See you guys next time.
Hey.
Boom.
How are you, Larry? Fine. And how's the atmosphere there at the Port Authority Bus Depot?
Oh, it's just great.